Okay, so what we'll be doing is in this video we'll be taking this model that I previously created in Blender, so this model here, and what we're going to do is make these buttons interactive in Ventuz. We'll just light the scene. It won't be identical to this, but we'll maybe put a video clip on here. So let's get started. Let's jump straight into Ventuz. So I'm going to pop, open up Ventuz. Now what you want to do is, from the Blender model, if you did follow that previous video, I'll put a link to that video below. But what we want to do is actually load up the GLTF that you're going to export. So you're going to export that as a GLTF if you want to use that in Ventuz or OBJ. But yeah, I'm going to put a Blender folder and I have a keyboard here. I'll just drag and drop, and you can see it brings in everything in that scene. So I've got the backdrop. Oh, I don't want to scale that, sorry. You can see it's got the backdrop there, slightly underground. It's got the backdrop with it and everything. But what I'm going to just do is delete that backdrop, so we don't know. We just want the model. Going to get rid of the scene axis. I'm going to get rid of the geometry import. Now we just have this. So now this empty here is actual empty null from the scene that we parented the object to. So this allows me to rotate this and move this around wherever we want, and position it. And I'm pretty happy with that. But you notice it looks dull, not lit. So we can make that look pretty in a few seconds. It won't take us long. So first thing you want to do is click on your engine up here, the engine properties, the layer root, and I want to change the engine to HDRI. Alright, make sure that by default it'll be on standard. Yeah, and you want to go to HDRI. Alright, that's the first thing. Then we're going to go over to the color tab and we're going to go to PBR, and you're going to choose one of these. So you're going to right click your PBR box, choose one of them. I'm going to go with the Skybox Studio, or maybe the Noon. Let's see the Noon. Let's try Noon. And we got a nice, lit environment. And you can, of course, rotate this. Maybe this is a little bit too bright, so you can play around with that light exposure, and you can adjust that to your liking. And you can rotate this around. Maybe you can also try the other ones out. So if you want to try out Studio one's pretty cool. It has nice highlights to it. Maybe that something like this you might want to go with. It depends on what you're the look and feel you're trying to go with. I'll leave it on this Studio one and just get this nice, nice reflection. So you can see here we've got a nice reflection on here. Okay, cool. What I'm going to do is just say lighting enabled. Skybox enabled, and uncheck that. If you uncheck lighting enabled, that just turns off the light, so you can see it's not affecting the object anymore. But so you want that on, but you want to just check the Skybox enable. There we go. So let's make this interactive, right? So let's say we want to make these buttons interactive, so we can press all of them and they just go inwards. So if we go to say one of these buttons, so let's go to this one, and on the y-axis, we can see on the y, it's the y-axis that we want to go up and down, right? And I want to apply these to each, but I want to make my life a bit easier. So we know the default is 0, right? And we want to go to let's say we push it in, say minus 0.35. Okay, so we're going from 0 to minus 0.35. So let's get another axis, right? We're going to get a new axis. So we're going to go to World tab, axis. I'm going to place it right above for now. And what I'm going to do is right click this and merge some container, and then I'll call this BTN, right? So this will be our button. Okay, so we're going to place this container in front of anything that we want to be a button, and we only have to make it once, which will make our life easier. Okay, so we're going to go into this container. So we know the Y position, we want to go from this to minus 0.035. So we're going to use a mover. Okay, and we want it one shot, and our default will be 0, and we want it to go to minus 0.035. Alright, so when we hit nudge once, it will go to that and then come back to 0 because it's on swing. Alright. And we can adjust this after. Okay, and what I want to do as well is add an oscillator, a math effect in between this. So we can add a bit of a bounce to it. So we're going to go to oscillator, maths effects. So we're going to look for maths effects if I can find it. There we go. Drag this in, and we're going to say oscillate. All right. I'm going to choose something like 12. All right. Now we can't see anything happening. Don't worry about that. We'll connect this axis to a button after we've done this. Now let's expose a couple of settings. So I want to expose the duration, how long the animation is. So right now it's 1 second. So I want to expose that, right? And I also want to add a interaction. So we need a touch button because we need to say this is a touch button. So I'm going to place a touch button after the axis or before, it doesn't matter. Okay. And what I want to also do is change the bounding volume to mesh. So it's, you know, we don't want an invisible bounding box clashing with another one. So when we go to click here, we're actually maybe clicking this. So just say set that to mesh. And now what we want to do is output this so we can pass this information out to these objects. So what we're going to do is go to our world tab and we're looking for output. So container output. We're going to place this here. So now this button and Y position will be outputted to anything that's going to come out in front of it. So now we can, what it will allow us to do is, actually I should show you without it. So I'm going to delete that output for now. So because I deleted that, I can't place this in front of this cube, right? In the front of this button because there's no output. But with the output node there, it now allows me to place this container in front. So now if I click on the button, if we can find which button it was, is this the button? Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to link it, my fault. So we've done all that, we've done all the hard work. And what I want to do is just link this to a button press. Now I'm going to use an event, just an event, and I want it on touch pressed. So I'm going to say shot to touch pressed, and the event invoke to the nudge of the mover, so the mover. So now we're going to click on the button. It does not work. Why is this? We see. Let's take a look inside the node. So are we clicking the, are we getting a click event? Yeah, we're clicking it. Are we nudging it? No. Because we didn't link the, oops, my fault. We didn't link the nudge to the event. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Sorry, I did it the wrong way around. It's that way. So ignore what I did, but the nudge goes to the event. There we go. And because we exposed the speed, we can go out here and we can change this to say 0.5. 0.5. If we want it, maybe 0.2. There we go. So we can go back in and we can expose some more value. So let's expose the damping and bring that out as well. And now this allows us to change this to say, if I said 3, you can see we've got more bounce. 2. Reset this. Boom. So you can play around and tweak this to what you like. I'll say 0.3. I'm happy with that. Entirely up to you though. Entirely up to you. You can play around with it. Now, if I want all of these to be interactive, now all these say this, 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 and this, what I'll do is take this button, place it in front of my objects, make sure they are the right objects. Yeah, so now you can see this one and this one are interactive. This one, this is a button, this is a button, this is a button, this is a button, and this is a button. Okay, so all of these, we can place this button object in front. So that's just one cool way of, you know, saving your time. Here we go. Now we have an interactive product that we can press and interact with the buttons and elements, right? It's cool. Okay, so now let's say you want to spin this little wheel. Okay, so let's just zoom in. Let's zoom in here and let's rotate this so we can see this. So this little dial, if I want this to rotate and this be interactive too. So we know, is this the object? I believe this is the object. We know we want it to not spin on there, it'll be on the y-axis. There we go. So how do you control the y-axis? You just grab an interaction node. We want touch rotation. And we're going to place this in front and we're going to say it on mesh and we want it to be on the y. Oops. Oops. Yeah, it'll be on the y. I want this to go after the axis, I believe. There we go. Now you can see I can now spin this. Now I'm going to change this to off axis. There we go. Just makes it. There we go. Now we can spin this to whatever you want. Now you can link that to control whatever you want. So I'm going to change this wrap to unsigned. So it'll be 0 to 360. And now we can take those values and drive something else if you wanted. So you could drive the volume of, say, a video clip that was playing in here, or whatever you want. So just to show you how you can visualize, I'm going to move this here, somewhere here. Actually, let's rotate this, reset all of this rotation. Boop. So now we're just facing minus 90. And you can see I'm still rotating it. Okay. Let's just add a little bar, just to show that we can just represent there's something going on, or we can have some text, just to show that the value is changing. So what we're going to do is get an axis. Well, tab axis. I'm going to place this here. We're going to go to text. We're going to get some 2D text, right? Block text, and I'm going to scale this up. And this is just going to display the value coming out from this rotation, right? So we know where we're going to find our rotation, our touch rotation, and we're going to get our text. Now, if I was to just link the text directly to the output of this, and we just want to see what the angle is. Now, as I rotate this, you can see it just displays the angle. But say I don't want that to be, 0 to 360, and I want it to be something else, I can use a clipping node in between. So clipping node as well, it's just made as I hit spacebar and I search for clipping node, but you can find this in the maths effects tab in logic, and then it'll be a maths effects, and you're looking at clipping down here. Anyway, back to this. So we know we're going from 0 to 360, correct? So min and max, that's the input, the output coming from that. So that'll be the input in here. And what we actually want it to output into our text is, say, 0 to 100. Like so. Now, if you don't want this to be being displayed as floats and you just want integer, what I'll recommend is you place an integer in between. So you can go int integer and say that, and now that will just display integers. So you could be, adjust that volume, for example. Now that value there, now you can take and you can also apply that to, say, a bar or a graphic. So if I go axis, it's just showing you, giving you ideas of what you can do. Anyway, a rectangle, and let's set this alignment to bottom, right? And we're going to move this across so we can see it, and we'll just place this just above our text here. All right, and we're going to say, okay, our max height will be this, so let's say 17.1, right? So we're going from 17.1 to 0, right? Let's just say 17. Let's just round it up. We don't need the point. So I'm going to hold shift and select our text. So we go there. Oh, let me just close this. Sorry. Oh. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna get the Y position and I'm gonna link it to the integer. And what we want to do now, we don't want it to go from 0 to 100. So the same way we did a clipping node in between, we're gonna add a clipping node here. I'll just drag it from the toolbox so you can see. And we're gonna say, well, the input and maximum will be 0 to 100, but we want it to go from 0 to 17. Oh, 0 to 17. If it allows me to type, there we go, 0 to 17. Now, as I spin this up and down, or I'll just let this spin, you can see now we're controlling a graphic, we have some visual indication of what that value is, but you can link this to whatever you want. Like I said, it could be the volume, it could be the, whatever you want. It doesn't have to be that, it could be an animation, entirely up to you. So now maybe we want to link these, put these and group these in here so they move with our object. We might have to rotate and scale these so we can see them, because I'll put them in a group here. So I'm going to scale this down. Now, of course, you can place this wherever you like. Like I said, there's no rule about this. You can also change the font if you want a nicer font. Perhaps you want, whatever you want, a different font. Let's see, what have we got here? Let's go for big noodles. There we go. And then if I can move this bar across. Oops. Let's scale this down. Oops, there we go, 100. So now I can kind of line this up where I want and position it. Because it's in 3D space, we're going to have some kind of, different Z depth here. You can see where that is and that 100. So maybe I want to adjust that. Oh, not on the Z. Is it on the Y here? If I want them in the same position. But yeah, there you go. And then of course you can put materials and all sorts. Of course it's not perfect because I haven't positioned it in the right place, but you get the idea, hopefully. Let me just see, make it a little bit, okay, I don't mind that being there. Let me just move this and find the right position I want this to be. There we go. And then I can put a material on this. So we can put a color solid. You can give it a color. Let's go for a nice orange. There we go. And we can of course rotate this into a position we want. There we go. So you could of course you can have buttons to allow you to zoom in so you can get a better angle on interacting with that. But you can see me spinning this style now. And also what I haven't covered as well, you do have options to limit this rotation. So if you want it to go from 0 to 360 only, or sorry, minus 360. Is it minus 360? One of these, there you go. And it will lock. When it gets to the end, it locks. So I can't go any more that way, then I can go that way. So you can put locks in there, you can put limits, you can edit the behavior, tick spacing. So if you wanted like it to do every say 10, you could lock it, or you can play around with that. Let's just put a random value, I don't know, let's say 20, right? So it will lock to the nearest, you see. So I'll leave that up to you to play with, but yeah, play around with those settings, experiment, explore, just click stuff, say, oh, what does this do if I change this to, I don't know, 15, or just see what happens. I will leave it up to you to explore and stuff. I won't go too far in it. I'm just showing you how to turn a simple model like this, we created in Blender, make it interactive, and make some cool artwork. Interactive content. and you can make that, scale this in. I want to move this across like this. There we go. But there you go. We have interactive content. We have buttons that we can interact with our model now. You have the lighting in here that you can, you know, change and move around. Last thing that I can cover is, say we want to place a video on this LED screen. So if I go to where the screen is here, what I can do is go texture, add a base, load a clip. Now this clip can be anything that you want to load in. I'm going to set this to loop and browse for a video clip. I have a few video clips in here. Entirely up to you what you want to use. Let's go for something like this cube thing I've done render of. Now you won't see it because this is black. We have a material here, so we can change this to white so we can see our clip. Yeah, there you go. And you might have to just play around with the UV mapping, because I didn't really do any UV mapping in the tutorial when I built the model, but it's because it's a cube, you know, it works pretty well. There we go. Let's position that and scale this down. There we go. And you can see we have a looping video there. I'll make it slightly bigger. Like I said, it doesn't have to be this, it can be anything. But yeah, and that, say that video here, if you go here, this video has an audio from 0 to 100. So I could easily do is take that video clip, and if I shift select with our text here, and we know this clipping node is also outputting, oh sorry, this one here is outputting 0 to 100, right? We can just take this volume and link it to this clipping node. And you'll notice as I change the volume here, so turn the dial, you can see the volume links. Yeah. So experiment, try different things. Right now I don't have any audio on this clip. Let's see if I have a clip with audio. No, this one doesn't have audio. Do I have one with audio? I don't know. What's this? Oh, Ghost of the Show project. There you go. I don't know if you can hear it on stream, but there is audio. It's upside down as well. But I can change that mapping one here. There we go. Rotate this round. There we go. And of course I can scale that 180. There we go. So I can boost the volume up or bring the volume down. Entirely up to you. Hopefully you enjoy your day, evening and night. And we've got buttons. Also, all these buttons here, don't forget, you can link these to the clip. So you've got stop, restart, for example. I'll just link them. I'll just show you exactly how you can do that. Right now we didn't expose any outputs of those button click events, so what I can do is say I want to expose this event pressed, so the fired. So now if I go here, you can see it says fired. This one doesn't. So what I can actually do is say shift select, right click, interfacing. So make sure interfacing's on all of these. I won't do a few, but what you can do is you can copy down now and pass the update. So now these exposed fired. These ones haven't because I haven't copied those down. But if I do, it does now allow you to do that. So now we have these fired events exposed. If I select these 3 buttons, for example, and we go to the video, and you can see how easily it can get, you know, a lot of nodes. You can have a lot of nodes all connecting, doing different things, and so try to keep your nodes and hierarchy and stuff organized. But yeah, you can keep it nice and tidy like this if you want. I can take the seek and link it to one button, restart, and let's say pause. Let's take pause. Okay, so one of these will pause. I don't know which one. So this was pause. This one will be seek, which will go to 0, frame 0, and this one's going to play. But yeah, you can map these to whatever video clips you want, like I said. And on top of that, instead of me having to, you know, rotate this whole object, what I can also do is get a touch orbit node. Let's just finish this off with a touch orbit node. Boop. Now, whoop. We want this in front of the axis, like so. I want to reset this. There we go. So now I can orbit this object, interact with the volume, play. There you go. Click on buttons, drag it around. You have an interactive object. There you go. Enjoy your day, morning, night. Thank you again. If you want to know how to model this object and make all the parts, I covered that in a Blender video. Blender's open source as well. It was great if you want to get into modeling and stuff. Alright, bye bye. See you later. Be good to each other.